Good afternoon and welcome to the Joint Governance Committee meetings between the Seneca County IDA, the EDC, and the Funding Corp. We are waiting on one or two more people for a quorum for the IDA and EDC. So we'll start with the Seneca County Funding Corp. First item of business is approval of the governance committee minutes. Last time. I'll second it. Voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? No. Motion carried. Next is a review of the Funding Corp policies. Sarah?
Yep, so this year we are recommending approval of our policies with no modifications needed. So the policies on the agenda today are the Audit Committee Charter, the bylaws, the Code of Ethics, Compensation Reimbursement and Attendance Policy, Conflict of Interest, Defense and Indemnification Policy, Disposition of Property Guidelines, Finance Committee Charter, FOIL Policy, Investment Policy, Mission Statement, Procurement Policy, Records and Retention Policy, Sexual Harassment Policy, Travel Policy, and Whistleblower Policy.
Move their acceptance.
I'll second. So, yes, all in favor of keeping the established policies as is with no modifications?
Aye.
I'll second. Yeah, all in favor, aye. Motion carried. Next item on the agenda is nomination of the Funding Corp officers for 2023. Bob and I have discussed this, and we'll keep the officers the same as last year, between myself, Steve Brusso as chair, and Bob Kernan as secretary and treasurer.
Okay.
And the self-evaluation of the committee.
Yep, so this was attached to your meeting packets, indicating that you have reviewed the established policies, are recommending their approval to the full board, as well as nomination of the officers for the new calendar year. Also, there were no documents or anything disposed of in this year.
Fairly simple. Any other business?
No.
None, not at this point. No executive session.
Move their adjournment.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So the Funding Corp portion of the meeting has been adjourned. Still waiting for at least one more person for the IDA and the EDC meetings.
We'll dive right in with the IDA governance and then move back to the EDC probably. So, we'll start out with the first order of business is approval of the Governance Committee meeting minutes of October 22nd, 2021. Everyone has a copy in their packet.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carried. Next item, Sarah, is review of the recommended, one new policy and established policies with no modifications.
Yeah. So we'll do these separate. So we'll start with the new policy first. So we are proposing just to adopt a fee schedule. We have obviously historically listed our application fees and our agency fees on the application. But then, we have received inquiries before about if we were to do sales tax or mortgage recording tax exemptions without a pilot. And also we do commonly get questions about what the legal fees entail. So we did ask Rob Halpin to put together a schedule, estimate based on his experience. That's what's on the second page for the various items. And he sets his own fees. The first page is really what would be up for discussion and consideration from all of you. So we have For street lease transactions, which is our pilots, that also includes if they were doing a pilot, a sales tax, and/or a mortgage recording tax exemption. We have our $350 application fee. There's really no proposed change there. We've got our 1% of total capital costs, our agency fee. We're not proposing a change there. The newest additions really are the sales tax exemption only, or mortgage recording tax exemption only. And those could be combined in any combination. Essentially, without a pilot is the only distinction. So the application fee would remain the same, $350. But the agency fee for the sales tax, we're proposing 1% of the sales taxable amount. And then for the mortgage recording tax exemption, we are proposing 0.1% of the mortgage. And the way that the math works out on those.
Why is it, okay, down here, 0.1% of the mortgage. Okay.
It works out so that the value of the exemptions is still higher than what our fees are.
What was the mortgage fee before?
So we didn't have anything set specifically for if a company was coming to us just for a mortgage recording exemption. It's not all that common, but we have done it in the past with Del Lago, and I think traditionally we didn't charge any kind of agency fee for it. We just had them pay legal costs.
Mm-hmm.
But
So
you
this
know,
is
with
a
the
fee-
understanding that this could become a more common.
This is a fee that you're charging, the fee that they're gonna get exempted is what it is. This doesn't change any of that.
Right.
That is what it is. This is what you're charging relative to that.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. And then you see here also for our bonds, which is what it has sort of always been there as well, although we don't usually have bonds. And this does, you know, have the stipulation that we would reserve the right to modify the fee schedule if the case were necessary. Does anybody have questions or comments?
I think at this point, from memory, we've never done anything just sales tax or mortgage recording tax outside of a pilot. So,
And it's not typically a common request that we get, but other IDAs do have commonly broken out fee schedules with, you know, these different circumstances. And, you know, I think I could see the case where there might be a company that's leasing a space. Maybe they're not doing significant renovations to the space itself, but, you know, they're buying new equipment or, you know, getting financing for it, and they might, you know, want access to some of these.
For reference, that's what we did with Xylem. They just had a sales tax exemption. You can remember way back then.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not totally unheard of, it's just uncommon, but we wanted to have sort of a case that can be, you know, added to our application. It can be added to our website so that we're more transparent and companies know what to expect from us when they're putting together their budgets and financing.
Sounds like a good idea. Any discussion on the committee? If not, need a
Motion to recommend.
Yeah.
long day. I need a motion to recommend the new proposed policy fee schedule.
So made.
Second. So Kelly?
Mr. Brusso,
Yes.
Mr. Kine,
Yes.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Mr. Bruce Murray, absent, motion carried.
And then we've got our policies with no modifications. So we'll do this as just a separate
Blanket.
vote, but we looked over everything. We've updated a lot of these in recent years and didn't see a need to recommend any updates. I'll read through them quickly just for the benefit of the live stream. So we are recommending approval of our audit committee charter, our admin guidelines, policies and procedures, our bylaws, our code of ethics, our conflict of interest, capitalization policy, disposition of property policy, equal opportunity policy, finance committee charter, FOIL policy, governance committee charter, investment policy, local labor policy, prevailing wage policy, procurement policy, records and retention, sexual harassment, supplies and equipment, UTEP and mission statement.
Any question or anyone would like to do any modifications to this? Hearing none, I have a motion to approve keeping the
So moved.
Second?
roll call?
Mr. Russo?
Yes.
Mr. Kine?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Bruce Murray, absent, motion carried.
Next on the list is nomination of 2023 IDA officers. I've spoken to a number of people, and we have the proposed nomination list. Myself, Steve Russo, remaining as chair for 2023, one more year, and then I'll step down from that. Vice Chair Bruce Murray, Treasurer Ben Guthrie, and Secretary Ralph Lott.
And they've all agreed to that.
And they've all agreed.
Okay.
So the full
Yep.
IDA board will vote on that in January. Okay. Then
But as a committee, we're
We're
putting that forth as, so
Yeah,
would you
unless
take a
there's-
motion to do, saying, we can't approve them, but we're recommending them to the full board?
Yes,
we can do that.
yes, so yeah,
Typically.
motion to, yes. recommend
Motion
this.
to re-recommend this group to the full board for
Second.
approval, our support.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carried. Next, IDA Governance Committee 2022 evaluation.
So this is what is going to be sent to the state. From the governance committee, there are no proposed changes to the charter or the governance guidelines, no documents disposed of. And essentially the governance committee has accomplished the following during the course of this year. So adopting the new project fee schedule, reviewing the established policies, reviewing and renewing professional service contracts, which we do have on our agenda for today, and then nominating officers. This should say for 2023. So we'll make that modification. Otherwise, does anybody have additions, modifications, comments?
Executive session, no need for
I
that.
don't think so.
Next is contract renewals.
So we have the following contracts up for renewal. Fisher Associates, which is our sort of annual, we can spend up to $10,000 as needed for engineering services. Dermody Burke and Brown, which is our accounting firm. That rate is currently $900 a month for January through November. And then we do get billed hourly in December because of the extra work that's required in preparation for our audit and closeout of the year. Ellie Beatty, our bookkeeper, her contract is for $675 a month. Then we've also got Jim Armstrong for business retention. His contract is up to $15,000, but typically we don't hit that level of spending. And I anticipate that that might actually start backing off a little bit now with the addition of Dave to the team. And then Bob Kernan is CFO for $1,000 a month. And then I will note on the EDC side, we've got Bob Kernan's portion of that contract. That's it. Questions?
Is there a fee for each?
So it's $1,000 for the IDA and $250 for the EDC for the CFO. Is what we have structured.
Any other questions, discussions, or? No? So then, a motion to approve all 5 contracts for professional services.
So moved.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carried. Any other business for
No.
today? So, motion to adjourn the IDA portion.
So made.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. Motion carried. So we're done with the IDA governance committee portion of this. Next on the agenda is the Economic Development Corporation Governance Committee meeting. First item on the agenda is approval of the Governance Committee meeting minutes of October 22nd, 2021. Everyone has received a copy in their packet. Any corrections or any changes? If not, motion to approve?
So made.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking, yeah, just EDC, yeah. I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Same as with the IDA, we have a review of the EDC policies.
I'm not even gonna read through all the names this time because it's basically the same policies.
No changes?
No proposed changes, because again, these have been updated fairly recently.
So, with that said, motion to approve.
So made.
I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carried. Nominations of 2023 EDC officers. I'm proposing to leave it the same as last year. Tom, if you're fine with that?
So the slate would be Steve remaining as chair, Jeff Shipley as vice chair, and then Tom as secretary treasurer.
Yes. So I guess, yeah, motion
So
to
made.
recommend that slate. I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Next is the contract renewal for Bob Kernan.
We have our self-evaluation first.
Self-evaluation first.
This will be quick. So this, again, is similar to the IDA and the Funding Corp. No proposed changes this year to the governance charter or the guidelines. No documents have been disposed of. The EDC Governance Committee this year has reviewed the established policies, reviewed and renewed professional service contracts, and nominated officers for the following calendar year. Okay, now we can do the contract. So as we mentioned earlier, recommending renewal of Bob Kernan's contract as CFO at the rate of $250 a month for the EDC.
So made.
I'll second. Kelly, roll.
Mr. Russo?
Yes.
Mr. Kine?
Yes.
Mr. Shipley, absent, motion carried.
Any other business?
None?
No executive session, so motion to adjourn.
So made.
I'll second. All in favor? Aye. So we're
You
adjourned.
didn't argue over any of those.
No, that was an easy one.